Duplicate a photo clipping mask and transform it into a photo strip by using Distribute and a new fill layer. This video is being filmed in expert mode of Photoshop Elements, but the instructions are exactly the same for Photoshop except where noted. Templates are a great way to start a page, but there are times that we need more photos than the ones that are included. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to transform an existing photo clipping mask into a photo strip. I'm beginning here with the template DST photo strip DS file from the download folder, and I've already pressed the letter D to reset the color chips to the default of black over white. In the layers panel, click on the photo strip clipping mask layer to activate it. You should feel free to create your own photo strip using an odd number of 3 or more masks. However, in this lesson, I'll be using 5 masks to create the photo strip for my page. Press Ctrl-J, Command-J on a Mac 4 times to duplicate the layer. If you're following along exactly, there should now be 5 mask layers. Click on the bottommost photo strip clipping mask layer to activate it. Get the Move tool, and in the tool options, uncheck Auto Select Layer and Show Bounding Box. Photoshop users uncheck Show Transform Controls. On the document, holding down the Shift key, click and drag the photo strip clipping mask down until the bottom of the mask is about 2 inches from the bottom of the page. Doesn't have to be exact, just an approximate. Holding down the Shift key when repositioning a layer ensures that it will remain aligned. If you are using a different number of masks, then position the bottommost layer down on the document where you want the bottom of your strip to end up. In the Layers panel, click on the top photo strip clipping mask layer to activate it. Hold down the Shift key and click on the bottom photo strip clipping mask layer, and now all of the photo strip clipping mask layers should be active. In the tool options, click on the Distribute Vertical Centers icon. Photoshop users click on Distribute Vertically. When distributing the layers, they will need to be reordered in the Layers panel. To do that, we will rename each of the 5 photo strip clipping mask layers and drag them into their respective order. In the Layers panel, click on a layer to activate it all by itself. On the document, hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, and click on the first square of the strip. Back in the Layers panel, double-click directly on the name of the active layer and rename it Photo Strip Clipping Mask 1. Then press Enter or Return to commit the change. Then, click and drag it to make it the topmost photo strip clipping mask layer. On the document, hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, click on the second square of the strip. Back in the Layers panel, double-click directly on the name of the active layer and rename it Photo Strip Clipping Mask 2. Then press Enter or Return to commit the change. And then just like before, click and drag it just below the Photo Strip Clipping Mask 1 layer. On the document, hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, and click on the third square of the strip. Then, back in the Layers panel, double-click directly on the name of the active layer and rename it Photo Strip Clipping Mask 3. Then press Enter or Return to commit the change, and then repeating the process again, click and drag it just below the Photo Strip Clipping Mask 2 layer in the Layers panel. On the document, hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, and click on the fourth square of the strip, and back in the Layers panel, double-click directly on the name of the active layer and rename it Photo Strip Clipping Mask 4, and then press Enter or Return to commit the change. And again, click and drag it just below the Photo Strip Clipping Mask 3 layer in the Layers panel. Back on the document, hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, and click on the fifth square of the strip. And then back in the Layers panel, double-click directly on the name of the active layer and rename it Photo Strip Clipping Mask 5, and then press Enter or Return to commit the change. It should already be the bottommost layer in the strip, but just in case it's not, click and drag it just below the Photo Strip Clipping Mask 4 layer in the Layers panel. Now that we have them all renamed and in order, it's time to add a new fill layer. In the Layers panel, click on the title layer to activate it. Click on the Create a New Layer icon, and then double-click directly on the name of the new layer and rename it Photo Strip. Then press Enter or Return to commit the change. Get the rectangular marquee tool, and in the tool options, click on the New Selection icon, set the feather to 0 and the aspect to normal. Photoshop users set the style to normal. On the document, click and drag a selection about 1/8 of an inch on all sides of the distributed masks, somewhere about right there. In the menu bar, choose Layer, New Fill Layer, Solid Color. In the dialog box, set the color to none, the mode to normal, and the opacity to 100%, and then click OK. In the color picker, choose white and click OK. Now, in the Layers panel, hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, and click on the thumbnail of the Photostrip Clipping Mask 3 layer to get a selection. If you're using a different number of masks, then click on the thumbnail of the centermost Photostrip Clipping Mask to get a selection. Click on the photo strip layer to activate it, and then get the Move tool, and in the Tool Options, click on the Align Horizontal Centers icon and the Align Vertical Centers icon. Press Ctrl-D, Command-D on a Mac to deselect. At this point, you'll want to add a drop shadow. Instructions for this can be found in the manual. Next, we're going to group the photo strip layers. The reason we want to group them is to ensure that the layers will be moved together without displacing any of them. In the Layers panel, click on the Photo Strip Clipping Mask 1 layer to activate it. Holding down the Shift key, click on the Photo Strip layer to activate it. Click on the Create a New Group icon to group the layers. Double-click directly on the name of this new group and rename it Photo Strip Group. Press Enter or Return to commit the change. Now I'd like to show you how to tilt the photo strip group. But before we tilt it, it's a good idea to add the photos to the clipping mask layers. This will keep you from having to tilt each photo one at a time. In the Layers panel, click on the Photo Strip group to activate it. Press Ctrl-T, Command-T on a Mac to get the transform options. In the tool options, set the angle to a -2 degrees to rotate it to the left, or to 2 degrees to tilt it to the right. Photoshop users set the rotate to -2 or 2 degrees, and then click on the check mark to commit the change. Lastly, add additional photos, journaling, a date, and some elements to finish the page as desired. Save the document as a high-quality JPEG file with a unique name. Take a look at my finished page. I love how easy it was to duplicate a photo clipping mask and transform it into a photo strip. This turned out to be the perfect page for my beautiful sister and my sweet niece. I can't wait to see what you come up with. For a free PDF version of this video, click on the download link and then make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This has been Gina Harper from Digital Scrapper, the very best place on the web to find complete and professional instruction for digital scrapbooking. We help you get your stories told.